we've been having this conversation about our cultural norms, and there's a security guard over at Home Depot in California, because California is ground zero for theft because of the laws and the enabling of criminal behavior, and then preventing our legislators. Our legislators are preventing our police officers, our security, even business owners from being able to defend their property from being taken. But at Home Depot security guard is in hot water, and he's dividing the communities within California because he's shot a shoplifter. Let me say it again. A Home Depot security guard is dividing people and is really showing who we are as an American culture. They're dividing people because people are on the fence of whether or not the shoplifter should have been addressed, or if we should take more pride in not allowing our culture to embrace the worst parts of us, and then to have this bullshit being emphasized over in our culture and our social media, right? Let me go ahead and play it for you. I'm gonna be reading super chat shortly. Thank you to my guy Ash. Let's get into it. Make sure y'all hit a like for the YouTube algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. All right, let's get to it.
Confrontation escalating to violence. A security guard at a San Carlos Home Depot opening fire on a suspected shoplifter last night. It happened at the store on Old Country Road just off of 101. Katie Nielsen found out security companies are seeing a surge in demand for armed guards.
Security companies, let's stop there. Business owners have their hands tied. They have their hands tied. We have legislation that basically says you can steal up to whatever it is that you want to steal. We have the no bail system, to where they're going to let you back out on the street no matter how many crimes that you commit. We also live in a time to where they're also basically penalizing business owners and employees for defending the store and the products, because they're saying that low lives coming in and doing whatever it is that they want to do are under attack. Even to the point to where the guy that got addressed for walking in and basically fighting the workers over their cigarettes and jumping behind the counter, and then the workers and the owner defended themselves inside of the 7-Eleven for the story that went viral, right? He's being arraigned, but at the same time, there's also lawyers that's getting in touch with him that's basically saying, hey, you can go and sue those 7-Eleven owners. Let's go and get that bag, right? And so now that we see the problem being exaggerated and people just walking in and doing whatever it is that they want, the question to the general public becomes, how do we address it to where we prevent and we keep our neighborhoods safe, we keep our property values up, we keep our cultural norms similar to where they have it in Japan? You can lose your phone and they will turn it into the police station, and then you can go and get it. Shout out to Aaron. I'm going to be reading that super chat shortly. Or is that life more important than us establishing a protocol or a standard within our community to where you shouldn't steal and you should keep your hands to your motherfucking self? All right. But there's a rise in companies requesting armed security. Armed security. They're willing to pay the extra penny in order to have armed security in their businesses to prevent themselves from being taken advantage of by people that's coming in and taking their stuff.
This is where that shooting happened around 10 o'clock last night as the store was closing. Shoppers we talked to today said they've seen armed guards in the store for quite a while. And when we asked if that was a positive or negative thing, opinions were mixed.
Today just happened to be with my daughter running errands, and I actually told her this is a pretty sketchy parking lot, stay close.
Nate Torsch and his 14-year-old daughter live in Redwood City.
This is our closest Home Depot to us.
He says he wasn't surprised when he heard about the shooting.
It is San Carlos. It's still better than most cities in the Bay Area, but it was only a matter of time that was going to start coming this way.
A worker boarded up the broken window early this morning, the only remaining sign of the struggle that happened Monday night as the store was closing. According to police, the suspect, later identified as 26-year-old Jonathan Mackey, got into a physical confrontation with the armed security guard as he was trying to leave the store with stolen merchandise. Mackey got a hold of the guard's baton and hit the guard in the head and arms repeatedly.
So, first question. Name, Jonathan Mackey. Do you think that Jonathan Mackey is a white man, black man, Hispanic, Latino, Asian, so on and so forth? Is Jonathan Mackey a part of the community? Is Jonathan Mackey ADOS, American Descendant of Slaves? Is Jonathan Mackey FBA? Is Jonathan Mackey on some panel somewhere on YouTube, on Clubhouse, or is he on Instagram having conversations about how we need reparations? And is Jonathan Mackey a part of your tribe? Because you can't divest yourself from these people just because they're criminals. Is Jonathan Mackey, who boldly walked into Home Depot. I mean, they doing it everywhere else. They doing it at Nike. They doing it at the Gap. They doing it at Louis Vuitton. They doing it at Gucci. Nordstrom's just got taken over. They even hitting 7-Eleven and Walgreens, CVS, the whole 9 yards, right? So why not Home Depot? What makes you think that Home Depot in California is the exception and that you shouldn't be able to walk in and take anything you want, and we shouldn't value human life in the same way that they do when all of these other young people, teenagers, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26-year-olds come in and do what they want? Why shouldn't he be able to go in there and take him a lawnmower? He needs a water hose? Why shouldn't he be able to go in and get a water hose? Why shouldn't he be able to go in there and get a circuit breaker? It's under $950. It's under $950. So the law says that you should keep your motherfucking hands to yourself and you shouldn't address it, right? Wrong. Because when you then get opposed and say, hey, fam, you shouldn't be stealing in here, he can take your baton and beat you over the fucking head with it, and you still supposed to preserve human life, right? Because the thing that I'm hearing people say when I was looking in the comments, some of these videos, I was hearing people say, yo, he should have never approached him in the first place. That's the sentiment. He should have let him go. He should have let him walk out, and he should have never approached him in the first place. Now, me personally, I think that we need to nip this shit in the bud. It's already out of control. We need to go ahead and close the box and put it back in Pandora's box. But the only way to do that is to be strong. Heavy hand strong on people that's doing the crimes and the worst in the community. Otherwise, it's going to become a problem for everybody, and you'll never be able to put that genie back in the bottle. But he took the guard's baton and he started beating him over the head. Thank you for the super chat. I'm going to be reading that shortly. Let's continue.
For throwing the baton through the store window, leaving a hole and shattered glass. The security guard pulled out his gun and fired 2 shots at the suspect, hitting him once. A nearby San Mateo County Sheriff's deputy heard the shots and rushed to help. Both the security guard and the suspect were taken to the hospital, where both are expected to survive.
A very unfortunate situation. Unfortunately, it's becoming a common occurrence now.
Evan Frazier owns A&D Security out of San Leandro. He says with more and more violence occurring in retail settings, there's a huge surge in demand for security.
So, business opportunity. If you want to get a bag, now you're going to have to train them accordingly. Make sure you got your paperwork set up and your insurance for your company is all together, because you don't want to get sued. But if you want to get a bag, don't go and open up a retail store over in California. Open up a armed security company. If you want to get a bag, because everything is falling apart and Los Angeles is turning into Los Santos on GTA. If you want to open up get a bag and you want to charge what you want, open you up a security company over there in in Los Angeles or anywhere in California, and you won't be able to turn down enough work. You're going to be in so much demand over in California. See, when I see these stories, I see business opportunities. I don't have the ability to be able to nurture that business opportunity because I'm already overwhelmed. But if you want to get a bag, go and start you a security company. Make sure it's an armed security company over in Los Angeles, and you will be able to have as much work as you can handle, as many people as you can hire. You'll be able to pay them phenomenal wages, and it's a safety component in there, so you're not just going to be able to do it by any way. You're going to have to deal with shit like this. But if you want to go and get a bag, go and start a security company over in California. You will make a ton of money.
Security guards, especially for guards with advanced certifications to be able to carry a baton or firearm.
Even the most affluent areas where crime is not necessarily a huge issue, they are starting to hire guards, just a matter of practice.
But when it comes to armed security guards protecting stores, shoppers have mixed reactions.
I know that theft has been rampant in a lot of these areas, but I think we have to come up with alternatives, otherwise people are going to continue to die.
So, is dividing the community now. Because this man right here, I would guarantee you, is probably a happy wife, happy life type of guy. This is the type of man that probably helped us lose control of this country, and then it just spiraled out of control in the first place. They don't believe there are no alternatives. Either you're on the right side or you're on the wrong side of criminal activity. There are no alternatives because criminals do not negotiate with you. You listen, if you've ever been carjacked before, I've been carjacked before. They tried to take my life, tried to carjack me. You think that they was concerned about my wife, my kid, about preserving human life when it came to taking my shit? I got out of there by the hairs on my chinny chin chin and being situationally aware, and that first opportunity that I got in order to make an adjustment and make a go for it, I took it, and God just protected me. But if you think for even 1 second, because we keep talking about the preservation of life so that we can go ahead and put these people inside of the penitentiary and pay for their meals and their food and make them comfortable until they die out, pay over 50, 60, 70, $80,000 a year per prisoner, continue to fill the prison industrial complex, and then complain about the fact that they got to make our license plates in order to give us some kind of value back. If you think that in even the slightest that they give a fuck about you, your taxes, your kids, your life, or what's going to happen, of whether or not you even got life insurance to be able to protect your family after it's all over, if you think that they care about you, you are sadly mistaken. You are incredibly mistaken, fam.
As a result of gun violence and, this kind of sort of sanctioned gun violence.
They're here to protect us, and I think they need to have what's needed to protect the people around them, and I mean, that's their job. And it's kind of hard to do that with a baton when the bad guys out there are carrying weapons.
Armed security guards do not go through the same training as police officers. The state requires security guards to have a minimum of 40 hours of training, then additional training courses if they want to carry things like pepper spray, a baton, or a firearm.
And back in April, a loss prevention worker at a Home Depot in Pleasanton was shot and killed by a suspected shoplifter. The case made it all the way to Capitol.
And look at who the suspected shoplifter was. I don't know if that's a man or a woman, but it looks like it's a woman. A woman, a black woman, blonde hair, back in April. This is this year, inside of a Home Depot. They was doing wrong, and then they wind up killing the Home Depot employee as a result of it. That man went to work, was looking to make whatever it is that he make per hour, take care of his business, ultimately pay his rent, and his family never got to see him again. And we're sitting here talking about alternative methods. Nobody cares. Nobody mourns. Nobody even bats an eye when a police officer dies. Nobody bats an eye when a security guard dies. Nobody bats an eye when we go into these movies and you watch The Town with Ben Affleck, and they go in and they shoot up, and you watch Heat with Al Pacino and Robert De Niro, and they go in and, oh my God, the security guard talked, and so we got to take them all out because if you kill one, you got to kill them all. It's the same truck. Nobody blinks an eye. We're so normal. We're so we've been desensitized so much to where we don't even bat an eye when the people that are protecting us every day and not even making no money doing it suffers. But when a criminal has to be addressed accordingly, and a person like this can walk in and fucking kill a person that tries to stop them from shoplifting, ultimately we say that we got to come up with an alternative method because we care more about the criminals than we care about the people that's actually trying to put the businesses in our environment, that's trying to protect us from the criminals. We hate the police more than we hate the criminals. That's how it is here in America, California specifically. We hate the police more than we hate the crime and the criminals that perpetuate it against us. We'll pay taxes. We'll continue to fund the prison industrial complex. We'll say, hey, we'll pay 45, 50% of our taxes, give it over to the federal government. We'll continue to pour money into these communities and let them just bust the windows, ram their cars through the schools, fuck up everything, sell drugs in our community. And we'll protect and say free the homie, and we won't bat an eye when it comes to a police officer getting killed. That's how you know that we're in Sodom and Gomorrah, modern day right now.